I just spent 4 excellent days in Medellin, Colombia, which you see spread out behind me here. In this short video, I'm going to tell you the 7 reasons why Medellin might be the nicest city in Latin America. But before I do, for North Americans, unless you have roots in old Europe or possibly Asian ancestry, you're not going to those parts of the world if things get out of control. You're going south. You're going to end up in Latin America. And the reason is obvious. The quality of life and the cost of living make it so clear that this is the place to be. I recently did a video called Why the Americas Are the Place to Be If Chaos Erupts in North America, something to that effect. It obviously hit a nerve. And so I'm taking a bit of a tour of Central and South America and reporting back to you on places that I haven't seen or that I haven't visited recently. And I can tell you that what's happened in Colombia since the 1990s is truly miraculous. And Medellin is a great example of this, and probably the preeminent example of how Colombia really turned things around. So let me just go through what I saw here in the last 4 days and tell you why Medellin might be the nicest place in all of Latin America. Number one, it's young. The country is young. The population is young compared to what is taking place in North America and Japan and Europe, where you see the population aging really quite dramatically without a lot of replacement by young people. In Latin America, it's the opposite. There's a lot of young people. They're very, very happy to live in a prosperous society, and they work really, really hard. From the moment you land in the airport, I got to Bogota and changed planes before I came to Medellin, but everywhere around you, it's just young, hardworking people with can-do attitude. Nobody's, has their pants falling off with tattoos all over themselves and bad attitude about trying to help out. The moment you need something, somebody's there to help you with it. And so that by itself makes it a radical difference from what you would normally expect or what you would perhaps encounter in most places in North America right now. Number two, I talked about this in another video. Colombia is a great example. This is a massive country with tons of food, most of it locally grown. Eating well in Medellin is actually hard not to do. You'd have to actually go out of your way. I've been to restaurant after restaurant in my time here. I'll cover that in another report. But, going to these places and just having unbelievable fresh food that was grown very close by, and it's essentially everything is farm to table. It's not hard to find here. Water is plentiful, obviously, so if things get ugly and supply chains are breaking down and all the rest, you have food and water covered. And obviously there's lots of land, which means it's not that expensive to buy a place and set yourself up here. Even something like agricultural land is actually very, very inexpensive because they have so much of it. The quality of life in Colombia is stupid cheap. In other words, for the quality of life that you get to live here, the cost of living is it's negligible. It's probably less than half of what it costs to live in a comparable place in North America. Driving around with my friend George these past couple days and just seeing this part of the city, yes, the signs are in Spanish, so it's not like you could confuse that you're in another part of the world, but by and large, you could easily be in the hills of California, but a really nice part of California, not where there's, homeless people and filth and garbage and stuff everywhere. Colombia is so nice and the infrastructure is so brand new and everything works. It would be easy to actually think that you are in another part of the world, like a really developed place like Florida, for example. The cost of food is very inexpensive. You can eat out at nice restaurants without breaking the bank. Even real estate, which I'll cover in another report, is very affordable still, which is amazing after a 10 to 15-year boom. You can still get places cheap. Quality construction. Everywhere I look, things are well built. Everywhere you go, everything is really, really well done. The next thing that I noticed is that the values are all really sane. The men are men, the women are women. You don't have to deal with any nonsense about somebody's political agenda or axe grinding about gender equality or gender this or gender fluidity. None of those values exist here. We went to a club. Everybody was very welcoming and warm. It's very clear that they enjoy foreigners. You're not an outcast. They're actually very interested to meet you, and the welcome that you get in Colombia is about as warm as any place I've been. There's no racial tension here. Blacks and whites, obviously Colombia is very mixed since the beginning. There's no feeling that people have bad attitude or that you have to be worried about it. We went down to Comuna 13, which is a lower rent area of the city, but a wild party is going on there pretty much every day, apparently. Blacks, whites, mestizos, right, mulattoes. Nobody cares about race here. Nobody has again, like an argument to make or an axe to grind about why life isn't fair. It's just very, very refreshing. I felt no danger at any point in any part of the city that we went to. Number 6, it's fun as hell. We had such a good time here. The Colombians obviously really enjoy a good party. dancing, sports, right? All the important things in life are very well represented in Colombia. And it's an upbeat place, right? It's a place where dancing could break out in the streets, and where folks are happy to sit and talk and eat, and it's just a really, really good time being here. And last of all, it's still cheap. Amazingly enough, after all the years that Medellin has boomed, my friend George came down here in 2013, 2014, and started buying and fixing up real estate. You're 10 years into a boom, you can still find stuff that's really reasonable. A good quality 2-bedroom condo for, say, $250, even in a really, really nice part of the city. His place is a little bit bigger. It's about 180 square meters, is 2,000 plus square feet. A nice penthouse condo not far from here that's 400,000 US. You're paying for good quality, but you're also in the best part of the city. That's still a really reasonable price. So, there's places here that can be had that give you an incredible luxury and quality of life, and you're in the best neighborhoods with the best schools and the best restaurants and the best shopping and the best everything for very, very cheap. And obviously you have to know what to look for. You have to know where to go to see these things, which is why I put all of this stuff together for you on my platform on Xplan Community. So overall, Colombia is definitely a deal. It's a real bargain. It's exactly what I look for in a kind of Plan B destination. Good people, good fun, good times, great quality, tremendous value for the money, and just a wonderful, wonderful spot. Colombia, and especially Medellin, may be the single best place that I've been in all of Latin America. You should check it out. Look, if you're concerned about what's taking place in the US and Canada, the other formerly free countries of the West, then you need to be thinking about where you could go to ride out trouble if things really go off the rails in your home country. The biggest risk you face right now is your home government. These are the only people on earth who believe that you and your property belong to them. And if things get ugly enough and the state has to survive, they're going to come after people with resources. That means you and your family need a safe place to ride out trouble, and also you need to put some of your wealth outside the easy reach of your home government. Now, if you're worried about how to do this, or you feel like that's overwhelming, and a lot of people do, please understand that this is easy stuff. If you have somebody who knows what they're doing, show you how to do it, it's very easy to get this done quickly. So to help you, I put together a very simple download. You can see that below this video. I call it the Bulletproof Plan B. This will walk you through the 4 pillars of your Plan B that you need to think about if you're going to ride out tough times in your country. Remember, the important part about a good Plan B is there's no downside. If you never need your hideout in another part of the world, well, then that's fine. That means the world is in good shape. But if you do need it and you don't have it, you're going to be a victim. If you like this video, give us a subscribe below. And if you want to talk to me about your situation, I do free 15-minute consultations. You'll find a link to Calendly where you can book a time that works for you. And if you're watching events unfold in the world and you know it's time to get busy making your own Plan B, and you want some help and to be embedded in a community of people who are about as far from being victims as it's possible to get, then you need to know about my Xplan community. The X in the equation is you. It's about your specific needs and your situation that your family requires. There is no one-size-fits-all Plan B. That's why you have to know enough about what you're doing in order to set yourself up with the things that matter to you most. Now, you can pay people $25,000 to $150,000 to do that, or you can just join a mastermind like I've created with the Xplan community and figure it out by and large by yourself and get the contacts and support that you need to get it done. It's not difficult. Remember, my friends, freedom begins the moment you realize nobody's coming to save you. I'll talk to you again in another video. Thanks very much.